Hull and the American Broadcasting Company present America's Town Meeting of the Air.
Town meeting tonight. Town meeting tonight. From Las Vegas, Nevada, what is Americanism? Here Congressman Carl Munt, Elona Massey, Max Braden, Frederick Jordan, Joe McNamee, and Mickey Kivatiski. Hear both sides and make up your own mind. Everybody listen.
Now I'm going to call on Joe here, Joe McNamee. Now, Joe, you've heard four distinguished adults tell us what they think Americanism is or ought to be. Joe is a citizen of Nevada here, and we want to hear what he has to say about Americanism, so we're going to have a little conversation up here around the microphone. Joe, we're anxious to know what two 12-year-old boys think Americanism is or ought to be. Now, I have 3 children myself, and I'm very sensitive to their opinions, I assure you. And I believe that all parents are who are listening in tonight. So won't you tell us in your own words what you, as a Nevada boy, brought up right here in Las Vegas, think Americanism is or ought to be?
Well, I like Dr. Jordan's ideas, Congressman Munt's idea, and Dr. Radin's idea. All have to do with liberty or opportunity. Miss Massey says that the main thing she thinks Americanism is made up of is brotherly love. I think all of these are very important, but I truly think Americanism means freedom under law. In my grandfather's day, there used to be men out here with 2 guns who would take the law into their own hands. We didn't have any sheriffs, and the cattlemen had to deal with the rustlers in the Nevada way, direct. I've only seen 2 gunmen in the movies myself, but today, when we want a new law here in Nevada, my father talks with his friends. They talk to other people about it, and if they can get a majority to agree with them, they go up to Carson City and get the law passed.
Well, that's... you seem to have agreement here in the audience. That's fine, Joe. But do you think that this is characteristic of America?
A boy my age in Europe, from what I've heard, wouldn't have hardly any of the advantages I do. I seem to be able to do things beyond their highest dreams. Isn't that true, Miss Massey?
That's
Oh,
right,
Miss
Joe.
Massey.
You see, for instance, in Hungary or many other parts of Europe, if you go to school, you are told what you should learn or what you should say and how to think, which I think you don't have in America. And I think that's your great privilege, that you can say and do anything you pretty well please.
Thank you, Miss.
Therefore,
Thank you, Miss Massey. Now, let's be specific about what you think, Joe. The advantages are that you have that other boys in other parts of the world don't have because you're interested in freedom. Now, you get the idea from radio and the newspapers that you have the knowledge of the whole world. But do you suppose that boys in Hungary, where Miss Massey came from, don't feel that they get news from all over the world, too?
I understand their news comes from Moscow, and news like that would naturally be censored.
Well, now, let's ask Miss Massey again. Miss Massey, is that correct?
unfortunately, that is correct. I just read an article in the Examiner this morning. 6 people were arrested for listening to an American broadcast. Among them, several school teachers, for which they will be punished. This is just one of the advantages you enjoy. You are so right, Joe.
Thank you, Miss Massey. Now, Joe, do you think that freedom is... just why do you think that freedom is so important for an American boy?
You'll find, Mr. Denny, that it's just human to be able to want to do something by yourself.
Then you agree with Thomas Jefferson that freedom is a natural right, that people naturally want to be free?
Yes.
And you agree with the others, then, that the first characteristic of Americanism is freedom. But, Joe, here's what I want to know. How are you going to use your freedom so you can keep it? Remember, I said in my opening that freedom is dangerous because people who are free might make the wrong choice. People in Germany were free and they made the wrong choice. Remember Hitler? The people in Russia were free for 17 days. Then they chose Bolshevism.
I think that education will help prevent us from making the wrong choice.
Well, education is all to the good, Joe, but what kind of education is going to help people make the right choice in order to remain a free people?
Well, it seems to me that if we could have a nationwide course on the subject, what is Americanism, I think that would be good. People have a sense of responsibility with their freedom. People must have a sense of responsibility with their freedom. If people don't accept freedom with a sense of responsibility, then I think we might make the wrong choice.
Joe, that's just fine. Nevada and this nation ought to be mighty proud of a boy who feels the way you do about freedom, responsibility, and education.